Despite Krizo performing well in the fundamental aspects, remember the color codes, the specific criteria for the front double pose favored. Hello Superset Maniacs and welcome back to another analytical comparison where, despite the visual and subjective nature of bodybuilding, the aim is to maintain maximum possible objectivity by closely examining the essential details of a physique overall as well as in each individual mandatory pose. Following our last video, I've made some updates to the analytical comparisons template, which you'll witness as we compare my two favorite physiques from the 2023 season, Michal Krizo at the Empro Pro and Andrew Jack at the Texas Pro. In the front upper biceps pose, here are the key elements outlined with a hierarchy of importance indicated by color codes this time. Red denotes crucial aspects, orange signifies important elements, and yellow indicates those that are nice to have or desirable. Additionally, the focal point of each pose is highlighted within angular brackets. Andrew holds his own in the biceps department against Krizo but concedes overall arm development. He dominates the V-shape and abs categories while also showcasing superior quads. I designed the execution element to spotlight exceptional displays or flaws in execution. Though Andrew presents the pose more elegantly, there's nothing wrong with Krizo's display, so execution concludes as a draw. Despite losing the focal point element, Andrew Jack clinches the overall victory in the front double. However, the final decision must be filtered through the fundamentals of bodybuilding, as Krizo may still have the potential to reverse this outcome. Krizo secures a victory in muscularity with the conditioning being comparable from the front, and Andrew takes the lead in symmetry and definition. Additionally, Andrew claims the posing category, as we all know Krizo needs to step up this aspect. Despite Krizo performing well in the fundamental aspects, remember the color codes, the specific criteria for the front double pose favored Andrew Jack too much. Consequently, Andrew emerges as the overall winner of the pose. In the front lat spread pose, the key elements are as follows. Andrew excels in both the better and more visible lats, as well as superior V-shape attributed to his smaller waist. Although both contestants exhibit width, Andrew appears wider due to his effective posing technique. Therefore, the width category is a draw, but Andrew earns a point for execution. Similarly, the lower body presentation in this pose echoes that of the front double. The fundamentals cannot help Krizo here. He lost pretty much everything in this pose, despite looking very strong. Andrew's front poses are unparalleled in the current landscape, arguably surpassing anyone else in the business today. Side chest pose is next. These are the main elements in the pose. In the chest department, I would argue they're evenly matched, but Krizo takes the lead in shoulders and arms, establishing dominance in the upper body overall. As for the lower body, they essentially neutralize each other. Andrew may have slightly better glutes, and it's not particularly notable, similar to the outer quad and the hanging hamstring. While Krizo excels in calves, it's not decisive for winning the side leg. Andrew has again the more elegant execution, but there's not a significant difference for him to win a point there. Overall, due to the upper body, Krizo emerges as the winner of the pose. The fundamentals can't change the outcome of this pose. Michal Krizo earns his first point in the comparison. Back double biceps is next. We have a lot to cover in this pose. This is why the back poses are so important, guys. They reveal a lot about a physique. Krizo wins the traps while Andrew wins the lats. I would argue Krizo has a small advantage at the lower back too. Shoulders and arms is Krizo as well, so Krizo dominates upper body overall. Moving to the lower body, Andrew claims victory in the glutes and hamstrings present a tricky scenario. Krizo's are drier but Andrew's are slightly more substantial. This results in a draw for hams, and I'll grant Krizo the conditioning from the back due to the dryness of glutes and hams. Krizo also emerges triumphant in the calves category. The execution is fine by both. In the fundamentals from the back, Krizo continues his dominance, securing victories in conditioning and muscle definition, which encompasses muscle separation as well. Overall, Krizo emerges as the winner in this pose. In the back lat spread pose, the key elements are as follows. Initially, the pose appears quite balanced, Andrew securing victory in the lats while Krizo takes the lead in traps and lower back again. Surprisingly, shoulders seem evenly matched and once again, neither dominates in width. The lower body mirrors that of the back double, resulting in a draw based on our criteria. However, when we consider the fundamentals from the back, Krizo's overall dominance solidifies his victory. His back presents as both more muscular and drier, ultimately securing him the win in this pose. In the side triceps pose, key components are as follows. Triceps is a draw as Krizo's lateral head is thicker indeed, but Andrew showcases better separation. The midsection goes to Andrew and the chest is a draw. However, a complication arises in the lower body. Andrew opts for a front triceps execution instead of the side triceps pose, displaying his phenomenal front but revealing a potential weakness from the side. He only won the front poses so far, remember. So this is why I introduced the execution element. Maintaining a standardized pose is essential, and in a side pose, turning to showcase the front contradicts this standard. A similar scenario was observed with Sean Roden against Phil Heath in 2018. Initially, I considered awarding this pose to Krizo due to Andrew's execution, but upon closer inspection, Andrew prevails in both upper body and lower body. Despite contemplating maybe a draw, an analysis of the fundamentals reveals Andrew's superiority in every aspect except possibly muscularity. Ultimately, I've decided to award Andrew the pose. If the competition were tighter, execution might have served as the tiebreaker. However, with Andrew dominating in almost every aspect, I can't deny him the pose. Share your thoughts on this situation in the comments below. Abs and thighs next, a pose that needs little analysis, yet for the sake of the video, these are the essential aspects. Andrew wins in all aspects without a shred of doubt. Andrew has the best abs and thighs pose in the history of bodybuilding period, and he's opposed to Krizo's arguably weakest pose. In the most muscular pose, key aspects are as follows. Shoulders surprisingly appear even here, but Krizo secures the chest and arms categories, while Andrew clearly dominates in the abs. In the lower body, Andrew holds the advantage. Despite this, Krizo's upper body prowess gives him the overall edge. Additionally, considering the potential dominance of the crab variation, which we don't have for Andrew, Krizo's advantage would have been even more evident. Examining the fundamentals, especially considering the emphasis on muscularity in the most muscular pose, coupled with Krizo's advantages in the poses criteria, solidifies this round as a win for Krizo. This comparison concludes as a 4-4 draw after an analytical comparison, and only in this case I believe that personal preference should be a factor. It seems like too often judges put personal preference over the objective facts. But here, because objectively speaking we have more or less a draw, we should prioritize our personal preferences. In my view, Andrew Jack emerges as the superior bodybuilder. He possesses a more streamlined physique, superior overall flow, and strikes a better balance between mass and proportion, ultimately giving him the edge in this comparison.